Hey, Sam Hardy with Stenger Family Office for our weekly market recap. We're looking at what moved markets last week, what's going to move them this week. We've obviously got to talk about Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple, four of the Mag 7 names reporting last week. Strong earnings, beat analyst expectations on both the top and bottom line, but performance was different. We saw Microsoft and Meta continue their momentum coming off of April lows. Apple and Amazon, however, they didn't have that oomph in the forward guidance. So we saw them give a little bit back last week. We also saw some risk off sentiment return to markets, both US and global markets struggling. China was a key laggard, down over 4%. And if you look at the US small and mid caps, they were down a little over 3. They gave a little bit back to large caps. This was very different from what we had seen the week prior. So what changed? We had a Fed meeting last week on Wednesday, and little hawkish, little muted from Powell. You had tariff increases on Canada, Mexico, Switzerland. We're still waiting on a deal with China, so that was hanging over the markets. And then the biggest headwind was that downward revision to non-farm payrolls from May and June. They slashed almost 270,000 jobs. From those reports, we had weak numbers for July, and Powell probably wish he had those 2 days earlier when they came out with their decision. But now we got to wait to September to see what decisions are made. They've got that dual mandate to inflation and full employment. Which one are they going to pay attention to? Historically, if we've seen an uptick in unemployment, we've started to see rate cuts. So we're keeping an eye on that this week. We've got the market calendar here. You can see what's going on. We've got earnings from companies like Palantir, McDonald's, and AMD. Obviously, that AI sentiment is still going strong for the most part. But AMD, as far as the street's concerned, analyst expectations, our top line revenue of $7.41 billion. That's a year over year increase of 27%. We want to pay attention to that forward guidance. They did run into some issues with some of those Chinese sanctions and selling some of their GPUs, similar to what NVIDIA experienced. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to Stenger Family Office and share the show. Check out the Nick Stenger Show. Going to have a phenomenal episode this week. See you next week.